We're going to talk about a really dumb double G hard R and Jimmy Dore. I like Jimmy Dore, but Jimmy Dore is got such a hard on for anything he can say bad about Trump. But when something good about Trump comes up, he shudders in disbelief. He's got this video from this double G hard R. Fill in the blanks wherever you want to. And this double G's so smart, he's connecting all the dots. He's connecting the dots. Donald Trump is selling military gear to the Mexican cartels so the Mexican cartels can fight the military of Mexico. So when they kill each other, then Donald Trump can run in and steal the minerals. Now watch the connections this dumb double G hard R makes. And I'm going to finish it off for you. Because remember, the dumb double G hard R right here, Jimmy Dorothy, oh, he's so smart. He's such a smart guy to be a double G hard R. He's just got to be intelligent, right? And then we're going to take you back in time.
Want to get, Mexico and Latin America's minerals, and if they have to do it at the point of the gun, they'll do that.
So that's what this again. So this is just another economic war.
Okay. So what they're saying is, oh, they want the minerals. So it's an economic war. And Jimmy Dore's ready to jump on in because he hates Israel. And listen, I'm not a fan of Israel. Israel needs to be, we need to decouple for Israel, be done with it. They are the synagogue of Satan. They are straight evil. They put Jesus on the cross. And in Matthew, it says that once they put Jesus on the cross, they are no longer God's chosen people. Blah. That's over. But these freaking left-wing liberals, anything they can bite onto to blame Donald Trump is what they're going to do. It's an economic war. Keep watching.
So there's some crazy stuff happening in Mexico. There's been a wave of violence swept Mexico after security forces killed Jalisco New Generation cartel leader Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes. I love those names. Known as El Mencho in U.S.-backed military raid, gunmen torched cars and blocked highways across several states in retaliation. But our good friend Nico House has something to say about it because it's interesting.
Nico, the double G hard R. And notice the nice little nose ring. Any human that's got a nose ring, just assume they're mentally retarded. Just assume they're mentally retarded. This double G hard R is mentally retarded. The amazing things about people who are mentally retarded, that he should be a gymnast. Why? Because he can do backflips into whatever narrative he's trying to shape.
Of course, the United States is behind what's happening in Mexico right now. So in case you haven't seen the news the last couple of days, in Puerto Vallarta, there has been a war between the Mexican government and a huge cartel. Now, the capo of this cartel, El Mencho, was killed by the Mexican government. And then within hours, the Jalisco New Generation cartel hijacked buses, set cars on fire, blocked roads from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara. It almost looked as if this was a trained military operation, the way they acted so swiftly and the grade of weapons that they were using. And that's because...
Oh my gosh. The Mexican cartel who got rich under who? Their proceeds under Trump was like 40 million. They were worth 40 million. I think that's the number, 40 million. I may get this number wrong. But their proceeds went up 1,000-fold between Donald Trump and then Joe Biden. The money they had in their bank accounts went up 1,000-fold under Joe Biden. They got big under who? Who did they get big under? Barack Obama. The cartels become uber dangerous under Barack Obama. So what he's talking about is, we got this bad guy and he got killed by the Mexican government. Okay. And now he's saying that, this cartel, they struck back instantly with these really bad weapons. Now watch him piece this crap together.
The grade weapons that they were using were military grade. And not just from any military, the United States. There have been multiple reports.
Look at Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore, oh my God, it's military. It's U.S. military weapons. It's got to be Donald Trump. It's got to be from Donald Trump.
Talking about how these drug syndicates, these cartels, have been overpowering the police with ammunition made for the U.S. military. And this has been a long-standing issue in Mexico. Since 2012, 137,000 50 caliber rounds have been seized that were traced.
Since 2012. Who was the president in 2012? Who? Barack Hussein Obama. You remember when they used to literally sell weapons to the cartels so they can trace them? Remember that? Do you also remember the I can't remember the name of that operation. I can't remember the name at all. I'm off the cuff here. It's early in the morning. I'm just pissed off. But they found that the cartel was also selling weapons they got from Barack Obama, and it was making it all the way to Hamas. Remember that? You don't remember, but I do. But Barack Obama was selling guns to the cartel. The cartel was selling guns to Hamas. How were they getting the guns to Hamas? Well, just a little country called what? Was it Ukraine? Oh, that's right. The Ukrainian ambassador. Remember him? Chris something or other? They drug him through the streets. Was it Ukraine? That wasn't Ukraine, was it? I don't think that was in Ukraine. Where was that at? It was a Middle Eastern country, wasn't it? What was that? 13 hours? The war? When they laid siege to the American embassy, and we found out that Hillary Clinton was running a drug. She was running a gun running operation. Remember that? Remember our ambassador where they raped him with a broomstick? Remember that? Remember that? They drug him around the streets and they made a whole movie about it. And the movie had the guy from The Office in it. John Crane or Kramer or something like that. Remember that movie? 13 hours or something like that. And it was that guy Oz and a bunch of other guys that are on YouTube now talking about how bad that siege was. Well, keep listening. Keep listening. This Double G Hard R is piecing it together. He's piecing it all together. They've been selling weapons since 2012, but it's Donald Trump's fault because he wants them minerals.
Back specifically to the U.S. Army. And for those of you who don't know, let me spell it out for you. 50 cals aren't those bullets that go pew pew. Those are the bullets that go.
Oh my God, 50 cal.
Big enough that Randy Fine can.
Did you know an average ordinary American can buy a 50 caliber rifle right now? You don't need any. I don't think you need anything special at all to buy it because it's not a fully automatic weapon. It's just a large caliber. You can literally buy one yourself right now. See, he's showing, Jimmy Dore is showing their ignorance when it comes to military weapons. A 50 cal rifle is not military grade. Do they use 50 cals? Yes, they do. But the military they have a little button on it where they can pick between semi and fully automatic. Okay? So we're showing the stupidity of people that don't know anything about freaking guns. Now, if this man was trying to sell me a nose ring and a certain variety of marijuana, I would believe him. If Jimmy Dore is trying to tell me jokes, maybe I'd believe him on his comedic stance and timing. But they're trying to tell me about military weapons.
Roll on proof. But in case you need more proof, you can't forget in February 2026, there was a report that showed that 62% of U.S. source crime guns recovered in Mexico with short time to crime intervals were bought in from Arizona. Also, Arizona has been letting in 50 caliber rifles that are capable of downing helicopters in piercing armor. Oh, but it gets better. Here's DB Geopolitics referring back to a post that they made on September the 8th, 2025, showing that this cartel waging war with the Mexican government right now was being trained in Ukraine. In fact, recent intelligence suggests that the cartel...
Look at Jimmy Dore. His lights went off. Oh my God, they're being trained in Ukraine. That's got to be Donald Trump's fault, right?
Travel to Ukraine to get those weapons and bring them back into Mexico without a hiccup. And if they got weapons from Ukraine, we know Ukraine's weapons aren't actually made in Ukraine. They are made by whom? Ding, ding, ding. The United States. So if those weapons made their way out of Ukraine all the way back to Mexico, when Trump supposedly has the most secure border...
Wait a second. Let me see. Under Joe Biden, he lost $48 billion worth of military gear from Afghanistan, right? So listen, the Mexican cartels can get weapons to and from Hamas. They can get weapons to and from Libya. They can get weapons to and from Ukraine under Joe Biden because you know, and if you don't know, you should know, Joe Biden gave Ukraine $330 million in cash and in what? Weapons. Did you also know that there are United States military dudes that are in the special forces like DEFCON, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, and several others that are actually training the cartels? There's another connection. But remember, all this is Donald Trump's fault.
President in U.S. history, that likely means that the U.S. greenlighted that arrangement, wouldn't it? I mean, y'all bullshit you not. In December, a federal grand jury of New York indicted Paul Campbell, who was the former deputy chief office of financial operations for the DEA under the Obama administration, for his role in narco-terrorism conspiracy.
Under the Obama administration. He keeps saying the word, but I don't think he knows what that word means. He doesn't know what Obama means. He has no clue. All this is Trump's fault. Everything that's happening right now in Mexico is Trump's fault because the date,
money laundering and all that good stuff with this specific cartel. Like at this point, it's just safe to assume that the U.S. and the CJNG have a closer relationship than me and my wife do. Now, don't.
What does that have to do with Trump? What does this have to do with Trump? And they got Trump's pictures all over the place. Oh, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Trump wants Mexico to take out the cartels. Why is that so hard? So let me get it. So this double G hard R with a nose ring and Trump derangement syndrome. In his eyes, Donald Trump's administration and DEA. Wait a second. I think that Trump has been at war with the DEA, the FBI, and the CIA. And the NSA for the last 15 years. Trump has been at war with them. Why? Because they go around the world and they create war. They create drama and trauma so their agencies can continue to get funding. Okay? So all that's Trump's fault. So Trump is supposedly giving guns to the cartels so the cartels can kill the Mexican government. So then America can go down with the Mexican government and help kill the cartels? Oh my God, the stupidity of these people. The leaps and bounds and acrobatics is to no end with some double G hard R's.
I just find it a little bit coincidental that all of this happens just a little over a month after Trump announced that he wanted to conduct strikes in Mexico to take out the cartels. And I'm guessing that it also must be a coincidence that one of the largest tourist cities in Mexico is at war right now, right before Trump gives his State of the Union address today.
Why do you think the tourist cities in Mexico are at war right now? Because who's the number one tourist that goes to these places in Mexico? What country do you think they're from? The United States. So the terrorists are pissed off because Trump is literally squeezing the Mexican government, telling them to get the drugs and guns under control. Trump is telling the Mexican government, you better stop fentanyl. You better stop the cartels. You better put this shit to an end or I'm going to shut your country down, because Trump has decimated the Mexican government's ability to import materials like cars and goods. So it's Trump's fault that he's telling Mexico, get the cartels under control or we're going to cut you off financially. Guess who else has been in Mexico? You got any idea? Who do you think provides the ingredients for fentanyl and methamphetamines? Who does that? Oh, that would be China. Did you know what else China's been doing? You know, Trump went into Panama to take back the Panama Canal because China was running it, and China was charging American goods thousands of percent more in, you could say tariffs, but taxes. So Trump took back the Panama Canal. But you know what China's been doing since then? They're going through a landmass in between Mexico and South America and building another port so China can bring their goods through there. So Trump is, and guess who else is in China? Who's in Mexico? Guess who else is in Mexico operating? Supposedly, the Russian military is there as well, operating in Mexico. But it's Trump's fault that Mexican cartels have weapons that they got from Ukraine. The Ukrainian weapons that came from Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama. Weapons that they got from Barack Hussein Obama in the gun running scheme under Eric Holder that Eric Holder lied about under oath. Remember Brian Terry, the border patrol guy that got murdered by a gun that they traced from Arizona, from the Mexican cartel that Obama gave them? Do you remember that? But it's Trump's fault. And Jimmy Dore's happy to put any news article in there bashing Trump because he's still, see, Jimmy Dore's on the outs. He's on the outs with the lefties because he was hurt by the COVID vaccine. So anything he can do to get back invited to a Hollywood party, Jimmy Dore wants to bash Trump. He'll anything that makes Jimmy's narrative work, he's okay with Trump. But anything to get him in the good graces of his left-wing wacko buddies, he's good bashing Trump. These fence sitters piss me off. Pick a freaking side. Call balls and strikes when necessary, but pick a freaking side. Let's continue with our nose-ringed fellow.
State of the Union address, by the way, that Trump will be able to use to brag about the fact that he worked with the Mexican military to kill this cartel leader, but simultaneously will be able to say, but look at how bad the cartel problem is in Mexico, and therefore we have justification to conduct strikes and send our military in. It's a win-win for him. And of course, anything to not talk about those Epstein files. Can't forget that. But I just wonder how the military would end up in Mexico fighting against this cartel, looking like a Spider-Man meme whenever they realize that they're getting shot at with their own weapons, including 50 caliber rounds. You know what they say?
You can go on YouTube right now and you can find any YouTuber that's a gun YouTuber and they got 50 cows. Kentucky Ballistics, he's got 50 cows. There was a Russian guy on there, he's got 50 cows. The guy who had, oh my God, I can't even think of the name of it. He had one of the biggest YouTube channels, Demolition Ranch. He had 50 cows. Brandon Herrera, he's running for Congress in Texas. He's got 50 cows. You can buy 50 cows. It's not that big a deal. But did you hear him again? He pieces together, oh, Donald Trump and CIA is down there. They're working. They're doing it. All to hide the Epstein files. Well, guess what happened? Guess what happened with the Epstein files? Bill Clinton was under oath. And the Democrats had to ask him, when you talked to Donald Trump, you saw him at the island. Bill Clinton's like, no, he was never at the island. That's Bill Clinton. Well, when you talked to Donald Trump about Epstein, did he talk that he was messing with kids? And Bill Clinton under oath said, no, Trump wasn't involved in the Epstein stuff. Oh, the victims, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace and Thomas Massey. They interviewed the victims, 12 different victims. Oh, was Donald Trump involved in sexually abusing you? No, we never saw Donald Trump. Oh, but in 2012, Joe Biden opened up a tip line, an anonymous tip line, and anybody could, not 2012, 2021, opened up an anonymous tip line, and anybody could call in anonymously and make these tips. And then they had 12 different tips. And every tip said, oh, yes, Donald Trump used to kidnap me and do all these horrific things to me. What's your name? Oh, I don't want to give it. When did you report this? Oh, I'm just now reporting it. Well, any other information that we can validate this story. Oh no, I know, I gotta go. Click. Donald Trump's hiding Epstein files. So what's he do? Oh, he gave weapons to Mexican cartels so Trump and his men could go down to Mexico and get shot by the Mexican cartels. Are you freaking kidding me? The goddamn sideways bullshit, these goddamn idiots. Double G hard R's in America have the lowest IQ. It's so distressing. And people like Jimmy Dore suck it up. I hate it because I like Jimmy Dore. He's kind of funny. He's pulling on the right strings. But he's still got TDS. He's still got Trump derangement syndrome. All this has happened because of the Epstein files. Did Donald Trump flub the Epstein files? Yes. But I've told you from the beginning what the Epstein files was. Donald Trump, when Dan Bongino and Kash Patel saw it, they saw those goddamn fake freaking entries in 2021. That's the first thing the Democrats... Because see, do you think that when Democrats were trying to kill Donald Trump with the assassination attempts, and when they were trying to put him in prison for the rest of his life, and they had all the Epstein files, don't you think that shit would have made it out to the New York Times? If there was dirt on Trump in the Epstein files, don't you think the New York Times or the Washington Post would have printed it? No. Donald Trump was a hoax. He said it's a hoax. Why did he say it's a hoax? He wasn't talking about it was lies and the whole thing was a hoax. He was talking about the people accusing him of being in the Epstein files was a freaking hoax. Donald Trump was one of the first ones to give a deposition about Jeffrey Epstein, turning him in because he was a creep. Oh, fuck. It's so goddamn exhausting with these morons, but they don't have common sense to put two and two together. They're absolutely clueless. Their hate for one man is absolutely astounding. Don't think I ain't been questioning narrative when it comes to Trump and Epstein. I've been sitting back goddamn cringing on, man. Because I have got the discernment of God. The Holy Spirit's given me discernment. I can see a lie from a mile away. But the fact that these people could do anything. If something happens 1,000,000 miles from here on the freaking moon, they're going to say, well, look, Trump sent Space Force. He created Space Force to go to the moon and make an explosion on the moon to take our attention away from the Epstein files. That's what happened. This is how stupid they are.
All the world stage. And Trump and the U.S. are piss poor actors. Come on, bro. Like, can this be any more obvious at this point?
So let me now bring in...
I'm done. I'm done. I want to hear no more. I ain't watched the rest of it. I don't need to. It's stupid. It's Trump derangement syndrome. You see the freaking leaps and bounds that he just tied this shit together? Everybody knows that Volodymyr Zelensky was selling our weapons. Joe Biden didn't give him enough cash. What did he do? He took the weapons that we gave them and then started selling to the cartels. Took the weapons they gave him, sold them to Hamas. Guess what? Volodymyr Zelensky just bought a $40 million ranch in the United States. He's walking. Did you know that Ukraine's really not in the bad shape we think it is? The amount of millionaires has went up 1,000% in Ukraine from where they're sucking that freaking money. Oh, that goddamn, and they're still sending money. Mike Johnson, the freaking leader of Congress, the head dude in Congress, is still funneling money. Why? Because it's coming back to people like the gay in South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. It's still, the money's funneled all over the freaking world. But it's Donald Trump's fault. The man whose freaking wealth has went down by $2 billion. Oh my God, it's so annoying. Don't believe a wacko liberal, and do not believe a person with a nose ring, and do not put any faith in anything coming from a double G hard R.